Welcome to What the Flick, everybody. It's Matt and Alonso and Ben. No movies this week, except we were talking about Kate Beckinsale.
Yes.
Her movie is called Down Under the Apocalypse Story.
Underworld.
That's it. Yes. No. Underworld Blood Wars. Underworld Devil Ham. Okay. No, I was
I would
wrong.
watch the hell out of that movie.
I know. I thought she was nominated for a Golden Globe for Love and Friendship, but she is not, which she should be. Frankly, she should be nominated for all the awards for Love and Friendship.
Yeah.
And also, Love and Friendship should have saved her from having to do any more fucking Underworld movies.
So why?
Maybe she likes doing them.
She must.
But the thing was, maybe she's not right. I mean, she
knows?
may have a blissfully happy life. She appears to have a happy relationship with her ex-husband. It's like a standard that other people should strive for.
Wesley Snipes has talked about that in past. Like, he had this moment where he could pivot into being a dramatic actor and focus his career on that, or doing action movies. And he's kind of like, hey, you know what? I like doing the action movies. They're fun. Yeah, and they pay better. You know,
I don't know I don't think that Wesley Snipes.
He may not be the best example of career advice. I get it.
Right, sure.
Yes, Kate Beckinsale, pay your taxes, please.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, she has. Wesley Snipes was good in some movies, so he could have been a dramatic actor. But I think she's beautiful and talented. There's kind of no reason why she shouldn't be an A-list star.
Okay, and I think if she were doing the Underworld movies and had like a Love and Friendship every year, then fine. That's a total one for me, one for you thing. But part of what was so exciting about her being so great in Love and Friendship was the notion of like, oh yeah, fucking Kate Beckinsale is an actress.
She's great, right?
She just nobody ever lets her do this, or she doesn't make these movies and however that works out. And so it's just a little depressing now. It's like we're in award season. I'm hoping there's going to be some sort of traction for Love and Friendship, even though it wasn't, it was a relatively small film and it came out early in the year, blah, blah, blah. But now it's like, Underworld again. This is the thing.
So anyway, we're going to talk about the Golden Globes because that's what America's talking about. But it gets a big number. People watch. I love award shows. Totally. It's fun. It has a better. I don't mean to criticize the Oscars because I love watching the Academy Awards. I do, but the Golden Globes as a show generally more fun.
It's a better party.
Better party.
It's a looser vibe. They've got TV in there. None of their categories are sound effects editing or things that people don't generally understand. It's all like actor, actress, director, writer, bam.
That's right.
Well, and let's talk about why that show is great, right? Because they're serving booze.
That they're drinking.
Right? Oh, absolutely, no question.
Right.
But also I guess always, as we've learned from every show, but sitting around a table with your friends it creates a different environment than sitting in an auditorium.
Everybody facing the same direction.
Right.
So let's go through the big categories.
Okay.
And then we'll say who we think should win, and we'll just sound off, but let's go quickly.
All right, fine. Best Drama Motion Picture, the nominees are Lion, Hell or High Water, Moonlight, Hacksaw Ridge, and Manchester by the Sea.
Okay, so what's the best movie?
For me, Moonlight. I didn't see Lion, so I can't speak to that one. I'm not a fan of Manchester, which most people are. I think Moonlight's the best of these five. I have no idea where they're leaning on this.
Seems like people think that I thought that Moonlight would win, but at least for the Oscars. I don't know about how many people are in the Hollywood Foreign Press. It's like four guys, right?
It's less than 100.
Yeah. It's around 80 or 90. They are, it's the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. I mean, dig into the history of where that organization came from and how they got started.
Does it mean that we're getting the great film writers from Sight and Sound and Le Monde?
No. In fact, tellingly, nobody from Le Monde is in, at least last I had looked
pretty
into
sure
this.
nobody from Sight and Sound either. But I mean, are they critics or are they like entertainment writers?
They're entertainment writers, right? And so the joke with the Hollywood Foreign Press consistently has been that they're the junket awards. Like, who's got the best junket?
Yeah. Who had the best buffet,
So the tourist, because they fly everyone out to Venice to interview the stars, gets an award because they like being flown out to Venice.
I think he got nominated. I don't know if he won anything. But
okay, so
this is the group that gave Pia Zadora Best Newcomer over Elizabeth McGovern, in 1981. I'm never letting that go.
Right.
All right. So obviously, there's some really
not that we doubt the veracity of their choices at all.
Moonlight is.
They do have some fun choices. Sorry, I didn't mean to carry. They do have some fun choices over the years, and because they divvy drama versus comedy/musical, they are more likely to pay attention to a movie like Sing Street, for example, that the Academy is maybe going to go.
So there are good aspects. It's fun to make fun of them, but it doesn't mean they don't reflect some It doesn't mean that right. These aren't crap movies that they're talking about. So
well, sometimes they are.
Some sneak in, but
if nothing else, they're the stopped clock, and every so often they get it right despite themselves.
So Moonlight is amazing and probably should win because it just is so different than everything else and feels different, and it tackled something it was different and did it in an interesting way, and it just made you feel.
Yeah, of those 5 nominees, I totally agree with you. I think Moonlight's the best film there. As far as what's going to win, that's a good question. I mean.
They are loose
Ridge
cannons.
Could win,
yeah, they like Mel Gibson a lot,
Mel
these
Gibson.
folks. So.
They do, right. I think that Manchester will win, but or Moonlight. But I just so Hell or High Water is the best movie I saw this year. I get it. I'd probably vote for Moonlight too. Let me rephrase it. Hell or High Water, my favorite movie.
Right. No, I understand the distinction.
Yeah.
Sure.
So and I'm glad to see it nominated. So musical or comedy?
Musical or sorry. Okay. La La Land, Sing Street, Florence Foster Jenkins, Deadpool, and 20th Century Women.
Here's why to me would be why the Golden Globes. Here's a good argument for the Golden Globes. Like I'm thrilled that Deadpool is nominated.
Yes.
Deadpool was bold and different and hilarious.
The Academy is not going to touch that one with a 5-foot pole.
And Deadpool's great and should be. It's wonderful, and so it's.
Although it did get a Writers Guild nomination, so it might get an adapted screenplay. You never know.
Which was great to see the Writers Guild do that. So this seems like La La Land is steamrolling. When La La Land it won the New York Film Critics. And it's literally a movie about the city they all hate.
True, yeah. And Los Angeles didn't give it the award, which people assumed we would. But it's interesting because when you have a year like this where the two sort of unassailable films are in different genres, they can both walk home with Golden Globes.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're obsessed with winning and best. It's okay to have two best.
Yeah, I think La La Land is probably going to win. I think that's a well-deserved win. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
But we mentioned Deadpool. You guys liked 20th Century Women.
Very much.
You reminded me that I also liked it.
I prefer 18th Century Women. Yeah. They know their place.
But I wasn't here for a review, and I've now seen this movie twice. I loved Sing Street. I love it. Street is phenomenal.
The crazy thing about the Globes is that they nominated it for Best Picture, but they didn't nominate "Drive It Like You Stole It" as Best Song, which is like one of my favorite songs in a movie all year. Yeah, but what are you going to do?
But Sing Street is great. If you haven't seen Sing Street, and most people haven't, go see it. It's really a terrific, fun movie. Best Actor in a Drama: Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, Denzel Washington for Fences, Andrew Garfield, Hacksaw Ridge, Joel Edgerton, Lovington, Casey Affleck, Manchester by the Sea. Seems like Casey Affleck will win.
The Affleck has a lot of momentum happening. Although Denzel, I wouldn't rule him out.
Also, I read that because they didn't give Denzel a directing nomination, they like big celebrities, bigger celebrity than Denzel Washington, and he's deserving, so you could get away with it.
So that's where we have to get back into the history of this show a little bit, right, and the Globes Awards, because the Globes, for a long time, up until about 10 or 15 years ago, there were really effectively two award shows, right? We'd had the Oscars, and prior to that, you had the Golden Globes, and the Globes were really almost seen as a bellwether to where the Oscars would go. And in the last 10 years, there's this brinksmanship where the dates keep moving around because the Academy doesn't want the Globes influencing their process. But for a long time, that was the only other big televised show like this.
Now there's two every day.
Now there's two, but seriously, right? Yeah. And so there's this history, and I think baked into the DNA of the Globes for a while is, what big star will show up and accept their award?
How do we accept the show? And so let's give an award to Madonna or Sharon Stone or Lady Gaga or whoever the happening person is.
I know a story of a conversation overheard by reliable people, and I've probably named the name before, but I won't now because I probably shouldn't have then.
Fair enough.
Of a very big star who heard that had a nomination for the Globes and was talking to their agent and wasn't going to go because it was on the West Coast and they were doing something on the East Coast and they didn't want to go and it was a pain in the ass. And finally, in the end, we're simply told, you win. So if you win, will you come? Now, doesn't mean they
were already winning.
They well have already won, but that's what got them to come. So they were like, okay, you're winning, and so that person flew across the country.
I don't know if it's on YouTube, but remember
and that person's name was
Mary Pickford. Do you remember that cable network Trio?
Yeah, sure.
That sort of a Bravo offshoot. They had a great. It was a documentary called like the Golden Globes, Hollywood's like ugly, dirty little secret or something. And it was like it totally poured the tea on this group for all the decades of just sort of shady stuff. And they went away for a while because after the Pia Zadora thing, it turned out that her husband, who owned a hotel in Vegas, had like flown all these people in the foreign press out there to see her show and like wined and dined them for an entire weekend. And so they kind of went away for a while in the 80s and then came back, and now they're more ethical, but who knows? Exactly.
So
they will be the official award show of the new administration.
So we think it's Affleck or Denzel Washington, and both deserving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, actress.
In a drama, Jessica Chastain for Miss Sloane, Isabelle Huppert for Elle, Ruth Negga for Loving, Natalie Portman for Jackie, and Amy Adams. It just says nominees. For Arrival or for?
It's for Arrival.
For Arrival, okay.
Yeah, there was Tom Ford was frustrated that while he loves Amy and he liked Arrival, he was like, "Gosh, this is going to take. She's going to get this for everything." And I think she's better in Nocturnal Animals. I think she's great in both. They're different, but I think it's.
I think Arrival is a movie that is more likely that Academy voters will sit through the whole thing. You know.
Yeah. You like Nocturnal Animals?
No, I like both movies very much. But I'm just saying, if there was one that I wanted to pitch to a mass audience of older voter types, I would go with Arrival. You know, it's like when Dennis Hopper got nominated for Hoosiers the year of Blue Velvet. Like, Hoosiers is a movie that Academy voters will watch. Blue Velvet, maybe, maybe not.
But they get stuff wrong. Like Michael Douglas, nominated for and wins for Wall Street the same year as the rabbit in the thing. Right?
Oh, Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction was the same year.
Was it?
Maybe. I think so. 87.
The rabbit thing. I'm like, Who Framed Roger
Rabbit? But to me, like he was great in Wall Street.
Get to know your rabbit.
He was great in Wall Street, but that's
Harvey.
To me, that was easy. Right, Wall Street was easy to play that character.
Right.
You slick back the hair, you give him the suit, you let him be Michael Douglas.
But as we always like to say about awards giving bodies for the most part, especially when critics less so, but I think definitely with the Oscars and the Globes, they like acting that you can quantify.
I agree.
He put on weight, she wore a nose. Look at all that yelling. Like that's like they can.
They played a Jew.
Exactly. They can put a tag on that and be like, I can weigh this as a performance.
No, I agree. I just think that one like Fatal Attraction was a man in anguish, caused by his own demons, struggling to keep his family together and constantly terrified. And I thought that was better and more challenging. That's all.
But in operatic terms, Wall Street gives you more arias. Anyway, so I think Amy Adams is great in both of them. I think Isabelle Huppert. I mean, because this is a foreign group, and I think they're less worried about dealing with subtitles. That's a knockout performance. People have been raving about it ever since.
Vanity Fair writes Isabelle Huppert has that international flair, and if there's any
she does indeed.
They pick Vanity Fair picks Natalie Portman anyway.
And
Isabelle Huppert has 2 movies, right? That sort of you could.
Yes, things to come. I mean, technically 3. There was the other one that I didn't see with her and Gerard Depardieu that has popped up on some top 10 lists.
But 2 brilliant performances, so you could sort of think of it as wow, she had a great year. That's technically for Elle, but
right. I like Amy Adams. She's got like a full, body of work going into this.
All right, so Matt, who do you?
This one's tough. I wouldn't be surprised to see Isabelle Huppert win this one. Honestly, though, if I was voting, I'd vote for Ruth Negga for Loving. I think that's a terrific performance on her part.
They're all good. I think what I like about Natalie Portman is the number of people who also hate it. Like some people hated it. I thought she was great, and some people thought she was miserable.
I'm a run hot and cold with it. And Jessica Chastain, I think, is fine in a badly written movie.
Yes, not
I love that movie.
That's your problem.
Best actor in a comedy.
Better than Bad Santa 2.
Oh, yeah, well. I agreed with you then. It is better than Bad Santa 2.
I got it. Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
For Deadpool, Hugh Grant for Florence Foster Jenkins, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Colin Farrell for The Lobster, Jonah Hill, War Dogs.
Boy, Jonah Hill must throw a hell of a luncheon. That's all I can say. Come on.
You didn't like War Dogs?
No, and he's not good in it. And I like Jonah Hill, generally speaking, but I didn't think it was a good performance. It's a terrible movie. I think this is Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, it just seemed this is the year that this is going to win the awards that it's up for. Many of them.
Yeah. I don't know what his Oscar shots are, but in Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy, I think he's got,
I'd love to see. I just, as long as it goes to a Canadian named Ryan, a handsome Canadian named Ryan, I'm for. I'd love to see Ryan Reynolds win just because it was such a unique, interesting performance. But it feels like Ryan Gosling.
Well, the whole movie is hinged on Reynolds' performance.
The reason the movie's nominated is because of Ryan.
Absolutely.
Reynolds. Right.
And I would also say though that Colin Farrell, these guys did give him an award for In Bruges. Which almost no one else did, and he totally deserved it. So he might have some.
The Lobster is great. One of my favorite
and
movies
he might have some special vibe with the HFPA. That,
The Lobster is one of my favorite movies of the last few years, and I would love to see him win for that. I would love to see that. I think it's a terrific performance. He really walks this line of comedy. Like, he does that really subtle, like, he's. I mean, we can see he plays this for laughs, but he never really lets it on. And in this totally absurd movie, it's this, almost grounded yet insane performance in this insane film. I just love it.
Should we take a stop and come back and do the other ones in another video?
This is getting to the TLDW.
So Best Actress in a Comedy coming up in our other video, along with both supporting actors and director. We've just decided to split it
We're
here
just going to do
right
it.
now.
Yeah, and eventually TV too.
Right.
So
this is
there's so much to talk about
on the fly. Thanks for watching. Watch our other videos.